Go back and see if the email came. Go back and see if the email came. Here, I'll share it with you one more time. Oh, you do? Do you see me live now? All right, let me put the slide deck up the way it's going to look. So this is what you're going to be seeing on the screen here. How am I going to do that though? They're not going to see you guys. You'll hear it, but we won't see you here. Okay, so just to introduce everybody. All right, so say like, and who's over there? Just you and Kara, right? And Roshni? All right. All right, I'm going to go find a crapper. I'll be back. Okay, all right. Well, tell me if this is any better. Tell me this is better over here. Oh, shoot. I just unplugged it, unfortunately. So it's going to take a second tonight. How's that? What's up, man? Yeah, I'm in the cafeteria. Yeah, bye-bye. Hey. That was good? Keep my eye on my screen? What do you mean? Yeah. Okay. All right. You'll be able to hear me and everything. You can hear me? All right. Let me hang up the phone and actually I'm gonna mute the phone. I'm gonna mute the phone. You tell me if you can hear me through the thing. Hey Eric, can you hear me through the thing? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Wait. Oh, you can't hear? You couldn't hear it? All right, later. All right, bye.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And last year, I think it was like. Oh, go down there. Oh, go down there. Unplug it for a second.
Well, I got the Hangout going, so you're gonna everything you do, you're gonna be on video. You don't have your computer. It'll take like 2 seconds to put it on. Watch your head.
I'm gonna run out of power though.
Wow. If you plug to here, do you have a charger?
I do.
Hey, what's up? Okay. I'll explain that. I'll be explaining that, but you may want to. Probably closer to. I'll have more text in a second. All right. Okay. All right.
You want to give me that 40-second warning?
Well, you'll see. Testing, 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 testing. Testing, testing. Huh?
30 seconds?
Well, no, I'm waiting for the principal. All right, we're about to go.
This is happy.
Yes.
And that was that A for equalizer. And then
Roshni Laki.
let me write that down. Never remember that. You don't have a pen. Okay.
Kathy, do you have a pen?
So you're just going to plug my computer in for the explanation?
Oh, really? Why don't you just drop it in?
The other woman was
Two.
Kathy. Who's the other woman?
Her name is Roshni, Roshni.
And she's going to be in its and she's going to be in the 45-minute session.
She's going to be doing some 45, some 15 in the playground. She's going to be doing a little bit of
Are all of you guys rotating?
I'm going to stay in the media center, and then everyone else is going in and out doing different.
And then you're here just for this part, right?
No, I'm here all day.
All day?
Just share the link. Drop it.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. I'm sorry I'm shouting. I appreciate it. I just wanted to make sure that I took the time to welcome all of you here. Make sure you get coffee and donuts. We're here for a wonderful day. The Highlander Institute has put together an amazing professional development for us today. Something that we've all wanted. I'm really excited about it. I've been able to get involved and see some of the pieces coming our way. Thank you for doing the assessments from the last professional development. It really helped us to get to know what the needs are. Your needs, my needs, all of us together. We do have some experts that are going to be going around from our school today, so I'm really excited about that. And I wanted to go ahead and introduce Sean Rubin, who's going to be kicking everything off for us today from Highlander. And I wanted to also introduce some of the folks that you're going to be seeing here today from Highlander. We have Kathy. Kathy's going to be rotating around. Oh no, she's going to be staged. You're going to be right in the Library Media Center. That's where you're fixed today.
That's where I'm fixed.
We're going to have Maeve, and Maeve's going to be rotating between the 15-minute and 45-minute sessions. And then we also have an individual that's not here yet. Her name is Roshni. She's also going to be going between the 15 and 45-minute sessions. These are some folks that you can ask questions of. Sean's going to be here all day to help with any questions as well, bouncing between areas. The Media Center today is the playground. We have a 45-minute session set up in B216, and we have the 15-minute session set up upstairs in it's B315. But I have everything well marked tonight. The agenda's out for you as well. So you can take it away, Sean. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us here today. We're really excited. We're talking this morning about the why of blended learning. From the Institute's perspective, and we've kind of, whenever we go anywhere, we're really starting to realize that the only way to really begin to make a shift, the shift that is blended learning in classrooms, is for teachers and administrators to really actually experience what this type of learning actually feels like. It is a little bit chaotic. It's a little bit messy. It involves opportunities for people that are ready to really move at their own pace, to go as fast as they want to go, and people that want to really kind of take it slow and learn in a more hands-on, experiential way with an advisor, to be able to work in a smaller group environment that way. And so what we're going to do for you today is we've created an actual simulation of what a blended classroom could look like. And we're not just doing it in one location. Right now, we're actually live streaming.
We're not quite there yet.
We're not.
You can slow down.
Yeah, we are. We're good. They're going to catch up on us. Don't worry about it. We're good. So what we have going on right here through my computer is what's called a Google Hangout on Air. Has anyone ever used a Google Hangout on Air? Very cool. So everyone knows a Google Hangout is actually kind of like Skype, where you can actually be talking to the person on the other side of the world, wherever they happen to be. But a Google Hangout on Air is like while we're actually recording this, so it's filming what's happening up on the screen, listening to my voice, there's about a 30-second delay, and it's saving it right into YouTube as a video that anyone can go back and watch at any point in time. Right now, your high school teachers are at the high school watching this exact presentation on a 30-second delay in the cafeteria over there. So we're able to kind of be in two places at one time with the content that is being provided. So we're going to be doing a lot of these different pieces throughout the course of the day. If you're interested at any point in saying like, wow, that's really interesting, I'd love to be able to hear how you set up a Google Hangout on Air, that's what we're here for today, is to take you deeper into these issues and pieces of this new model that you're interested in seeing more of. So today we're talking about, actually a quick introduction. So my name is Sean Rubin. I'm the Director of Blended Learning at the Highlander Institute. I'm a former teacher at the Highlander Charter School, a founding faculty member at the Highlander Charter School, where I taught both middle school, but I spent most of my time teaching in the kindergarten classroom. About 12 years, taught about 12 years, and then about 4 years ago, left the classroom and started a wing of the Highlander Institute that's really been working very closely with trying to leverage technology to do more personalization with students in classrooms across Rhode Island and now nationally across the country. So we're very excited to be here today to talk a little bit about blended learning. How many folks have heard this term before? Okay, how many folks would be able to stand up right now and just like kind of give a definition comfortably of what blended learning is? No one? All right, well, if I've done my job, hopefully at the end of the next 20 minutes, you would be able to do that. We're not gonna actually put you on the spot and make you do that, but that's kind of what we're about to do right now.
They don't need to see me.
They want to.
Okay. I've been told that I should stand over here. All right. So what blended learning is, and this is kind of a pretty basic diagram of what we're talking about. We're going to keep going deeper, peeling away the onion as the session progresses. But essentially what we're talking about is a combination of a few different things. We're talking about teaching, right? And really the best of teaching, which really doesn't happen in this kind of an environment unless you're like an incredibly dynamic speaker who can really engage and lock in everybody. But we know in this day and age, with the attention spans as they may be, it's very difficult to have this kind of teaching. It's much easier if I can do teaching in this environment with a one-to-one or a one-to-small group. Technology, and not just any technology, not just like grabbing anything that you find off of Googling something, but actually really well-designed technology with a solid user interface and something that's actually hopefully been tested, research tested over time to know that it has some degree of efficacy around what the outcomes are that you want that technology to have. And then the data. The data allows for that ability for us to know where a student is at and be able to think about the next step for that student. That's really where the personalization comes in. And through these three pieces kind of working together in a really integrated fashion, what we allow is for some personalization. And the personalization can be across many of these different pieces, and you can aim for personalizing one aspect, or you can aim for going for all four, where you're personalizing the time, meaning that right now, I could literally, that's happened to me so many times. Let me clean this up real quick. Sorry about that. Personalizing the time allows for you to be able to take this presentation and go listen to it anytime, any place that you want to be able to listen to it. Same thing with place, that's pretty obvious. You could be doing this from the library down there, you could be doing this from the high school, you could be doing this from your own couch, potentially. Path, that's the harder one. Path really is where we allow for students and you guys as teachers to be able to have multiple opportunities to experience what parts of this learning are interesting to you. And that's going to be a big part of today, is you're going to get to choose your own path. You're going to get to say, you know what, in regards to these different skill sets around blended learning that I want to learn, these are the different directions that I feel like I want to go, and it may be completely different from your friend who's sitting next to you who wants to go in a completely different direction with their learning. And then the pace is also the really challenging one, but it's really the opportunity to be able to move through material and content at the pace that works for you. Too often in classrooms right now in our traditional model, everyone moves at the exact same pace, lockstep, right? We have our content or subject of the day, and everybody is in that together, going and progressing at the same pace, kind of defaulting to the median or the norm of what the pace is of the entire classroom. So that's kind of where blended learning hopefully allows for us a little bit of freedom and flexibility. So I got my master's in my teaching degree up in at Lesley College in Cambridge. I was living in Dorchester and teaching at the Dever Elementary School in Dorchester, and I was taking my courses up here. And one of the things that was frustrating to me about Boston was that because of the subway system, the only parts of, and I was born and raised in Michigan, so I had never seen Boston before, and I was finding that over time, the only parts of Boston that I was even experiencing were along the Red Line, because that was the only way that I knew how to get one way or the other to the places that I needed to go. Occasionally I would go out the different lines and explore and see different things with my wife at the time, but we were really kind of felt like we were limited and locked. That wasn't until we got a car. And we did not get this car. We actually got my wife's grandma's car, which was a beat-up old Tempo. And this car really unlocked so much opportunity and potential for us. Now, no longer were we stuck in just Dorchester, or even just in Cambridge, but we were able to experience the Green Mountains. This car actually made it to the Green Mountains. We were able to get to the end of the Cape, and we were even able to find Providence, which ended up becoming our ultimate home, where we've now been for about the last 15 years, which we love dearly, and which we never would have found just on that limited subway system. I use this as kind of a metaphor for what the car equaled freedom. And what we're saying in regards to the computers and the opportunity to unlock this blended learning is that really what it allows for your students is a similar feeling of freedom. Instead of kind of feeling locked that I'm on this path that has been designed by the people that dug the tunnels of the subway years and years and years ago, I now have an opportunity to kind of choose and chart my own path and get some freedom and flexibility in the directions and ways in which I learn. So we're talking about this, it really kind of excites and gets these students really, really fired up. We take students and children and people that have a lot of desire for freedom and opportunities, and we kind of put them into the lockstep of a classroom environment. And I think that what we're asking for is we're trying to get you to experience today and really kind of dive into today is that opportunity to kind of break out of this and think about what does it look like if I can take my laptop and be able to experience learning in any location, in any path, at any pace, and really be able to kind of chart my own direction. So, and we have lots of, ways that we want to push this. We don't want it to just be the experience of just, taking in the computer. I think a lot of things that we want to push on today as well are how do you actually represent your learning by creating things with the devices as well. This is a couple students in a 4th grade classroom that are doing a green screen animation to represent what they've learned about, I believe this was about, I don't remember what this was actually about, but taking something that they've learned and then representing it through some sort of video or animation. And we know that teachers love to learn this way as well. So it's not just students that we're talking about. Think about when you've had your most engaging learning opportunities in terms of PD. I guarantee you it was not during an experience like this where somebody was standing up and talking at you. It was probably when you had an opportunity to really dive in with a colleague or by yourself to learn something deeply at your own pace and in your own way. Really hands-on, something that's kind of more fun and engaging for you. So it's not just the students that love to learn this way. We're hoping that it's also the adults as well and that you have that experience throughout the course of today. All right, so this is kind of one of the things we wanted to start. We always talk about when we kick off these sessions is the power and importance of really having a vision and a kind of almost a framework for why blended learning. And so what I'm going to share with you right now is the Institute's vision and why for blended learning, but I'm not sharing it with you from that aspect that I hope you will adopt this in Lincoln or even adopt this at the Lincoln Middle School or even adopt this in your own personal classroom. We really believe that this needs to be localized, that you need to have some of your own stakeholder voice, your parents, your students, the rest of you, and it needs to be something where you roll up your hands and you kind of decide, really, what does this look like at Lincoln Middle School? And what are the pieces of this that are non-negotiables, and what are the pieces of this that we're going to experiment with around the edges? And really, you got to kind of own this and take this on yourself. But for right now, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about where we come from with this. We truly believe that we're at a point in time, and this is not a new point in time. This is a concept that's been around since Dewey, but that we need to make a shift to mastery, where we're talking about students just the mastering of actual skills and competencies. No longer talking about the completion of work. It's not necessarily about what they've done, it's about what they've mastered. And the idea being that if you take all of the different content areas that you teach, and if you go under the assumption that we can create the competencies that we want our students to have, from pre-kindergarten all the way through graduating from Lincoln High School, that we can line those competencies up in some sort of a linear fashion so that you can progress through those competencies at a pace. And that pace could be grade locked. That could be something that you decide. We still like our grade-based cohorts. Don't take those away from us, please. Or it doesn't have to be. It could be that you students could progress through those competencies at whatever pace they wanted to move. The ability now to have content and formative assessments in the cloud allows for that ability for students to be able to kind of do that at their own pace because they no longer need to necessarily wait for the teacher to lay everything in front of them before they move forward. Or they no longer need to wait for the textbook to tell them this is next page and the next page. So this is kind of our big thing, is that if we move to mastery, really personalization becomes the challenge. How do I personalize for you and you and you and you and you? Because you all could be moving at these different rates. And it's not the age-old problem of, well, I can't, so I'm just not, and we're all going to do this together. The idea is that's the challenge. And so now, potentially, blended learning becomes the vehicle or the solution to address that challenge so that we can get more students to mastery across more subject areas and content areas. So this is really kind of our reason for why we believe in blended learning. We think there's a possibility. When I was teaching kindergarten in 2010, I was keeping track of my students' formative assessment data on a clipboard with a yellow crayon, a green crayon, and a red crayon. And I would just literally say, like, okay, observe this, that's a red. I observe this, that's a green. And I was literally keeping that on that clipboard. It was impossible to then differentiate off of that. So what I was able to do then was come up with it basically created off of the iPad an opportunity to be able to kind of take in data, have it aggregate automatically, and then be able to see my groups sourced for me, so I was able to then differentiate a lot more easily. Now that's just one tiny example, but that's a way that the challenge of personalizing was aided and supported through the blended learning. And then, so you go a little bit deeper, right? So what was I actually just talking about? The why of blended learning. Why do this? What's the purpose? What's the point of this? And again, I highly encourage you guys to figure out your own local why. Don't trust our why, but our whys really are these big three. At the Institute, we talk a lot about the power of formative assessment. Research shows that next to one-to-one tutoring, there's really nothing more powerful for moving students forward than formative assessment. And formative assessment is nothing without its brother, differentiated instruction. The two must go hand in hand in order for either of them to have much effectiveness. And we believe that this ability to kind of give every individual student the instruction at the level, whether it's differentiated based upon their skill or differentiated based upon their interest, but being able to support around this is really a powerful thing that we've been trying to do for centuries, really have not been able to get to a place of sustainability for teachers where they're not up all hours of the night making this lesson and photocopying 17 different things and doing all of those ways in which that's been crippling us for forever. We believe blended provides some opportunities to move beyond that. And then our last big why is that we want to get to a place where we're no longer representing our students' learning through multiple choice and short answer quizzes and assessments, but actually allowing students to build and create their by doing performance assessments or project-based learning to represent what it is they're learning and what they know within the classroom. We think this is a really high level of exciting possibility, and we believe that blended learning opens that opportunity up. So these are our three big whys. We're not saying they should be yours, but they could be. And this is where we want to encourage you to get to, is to you have your own personal why for blended learning. So really, what we're talking about is the best of face-to-face instruction combined with the best of online. And that's kind of that's the how of how we get this going. And so we're going to talk a little bit about these two pieces right now, because I will say that both of them are not as fully developed as they need to be for them to just be something that you take today, walk into your classroom and execute. Both of them are kind of in a place right now where there's some skills that are missing from both the online learning side of the house. The developers and the product people need to kind of learn from us teachers about what is important and what's not important in these products. And the face-to-face component, that's on us as teachers to be able to start thinking about, okay, I understood what it took to be a successful teacher in a traditional classroom environment. I get that. And I get it myself. Right now, I'm amazing at this. I can stand in front of a group of people and keep all of you, you guys are amazing at it as well. Look at how well you're doing at looking at me. You could be thinking about your grocery list later. You could be thinking about all the fun things you did for Halloween. You could be thinking about anything. It doesn't matter, but you're doing an awesome job of pretending like you're listening to me. You could be on Angry Birds on your phone. You could be texting, tweeting. It doesn't matter. You're amazing at what you're doing right now. And we can keep that going for forever because we're so good at it. But that doesn't mean that that's what is best for students or what's best for us as teachers, just because we're good at it. And so what we need to be thinking about is what are the next new competencies for both the face-to-face instruction and what are the log jams and potential challenges with the online piece. So it's the combination of both is really where the sweet spot is. And our responsibility in our mind is that we're all working on this together because we know this stuff is not changing. These devices that are in front of you are not going away. The cloud is only going to get more and more pervasive in our lives and in our students' lives. So if we don't figure this out, we're only doing each other a disservice. So we're going to talk a little bit first about some of the competencies of online learning. And really what we believe is that there are essentially five solid competencies, okay, that need to be in place in order for blended learning to be successful at Lincoln Middle School or anywhere. The first one is that we move to competency-based education. So you have to be able to start grading based off of where students are in terms of the competencies that you expect them to have and whether they've mastered those competencies or not. It's about that student and understanding that I can do this, I can almost do this, or I can't do this at all and need a lot of support. That's what competency-based mastery education kind of is about. And so in order to do that, everyone has to kind of have an aligned vision around what mastery looks like. If I'm a 4th grade teacher or a 6th grade teacher here teaching humanities, and a 6th grade teacher over there is teaching humanities, and this vision of mastery is completely different from this vision of mastery, now our whole system kind of falls apart upon itself, right? So an aligned vision of what mastery looks like is super important. And then in order to get to that, you've got to have some degree of formatives and interim assessments that are aligned as well. And hopefully those live in the cloud. So it's not like I have to actually give you all of these pieces of paper at the end of the day, collect all these pieces of paper at the end of the day, grade all these pieces of paper, get them back to you 2 weeks later. No, you have the real-time ability to understand where you sit in regard to mastering of all these different competencies. If we can get to that place and the software allows for you to get to that place, now that student understands where they are, you understand where that student is, and they can continue to move forward in an aligned version of mastery-based education. But then once we know where they are, we can't keep them waiting there for the teacher to come and teach them the next thing. There's got to be ability for content and projects and the next steps to exist in the cloud, to be able to come down to them at the right point in time for them to be able to move forward at the pace they want to move at, or to get the remediation at the pace they need it. And then and only then, the fifth component of this is that face-to-face instruction, that solid socio-emotional bond, that ability for me to be your coach and to push you, the things that only human-to-human interaction can do, that you cannot get from a computer. That piece is the most essential piece, and in our mind, really the only piece that the teacher should be responsible for. All the rest of these pieces, we think should either be done by the district itself, supporting the teachers in the classroom around blended learning, or ideally maybe even by the state or multiple districts kind of working together. If you think about the massive undertaking of building a competency-based model with content and formatives all in the cloud and not having to spend a ton of money for that, it might make sense to start partnering with some of your neighbor districts to figure out how we all do this. Why should every fourth grade teacher in the state of Rhode Island be building Common Core aligned content in videos and things on the web? Why don't we start divvying up the work and sharing and using and leveraging each other's stuff? It just doesn't make any sense. So there are some competencies and some work that needs to be done here, but we think that these are the essential pieces in order for the online learning to come together. Now we're going to talk about the face-to-face. If you were going to raise your hand, and please do, and say, what do you think is the most important competency for a new blended learning teacher to have in a classroom, what is that competency? For those of you at the high school, no one has their hands up. There's a hand, one hand, yes. People skills, great. I have never heard that one before in response to that question. Excellent. Others? Going to be a long pause because I'm waiting. Throw out a competency. What are you thinking? If you're going to run a blended learning classroom, what's something you need to be good at as a teacher? Using technology. Any more? Organization. Excellent. All right. I'm going to stop you there. Those were great. I think we're starting to get on a roll. So, some research was done across national research by an organization called INICOL. INICOL is kind of the leader in blended and online learning, helping to kind of figure out what does this stuff look like. They've looked at a ton of classrooms where blended learning has been happening, and what they identified as kind of the top most important skills that a blended learning teacher needs is a mindset. It's about mindset. And really the core values and beliefs of that mindset is that I believe that there should be a new vision for teaching and learning. If you're out there, and you could be out there, I don't care. It's not any fault against me. I don't really care. But if you're sitting there thinking like, this is bullshit, like I know that what I've been doing for 40 years works. It worked for me when I was a student in the classroom, and it's worked for my kids that I've graduated, and there ain't no way I'm changing any of this. If that's what your mindset is right now, great, but you're never gonna do blended learning. It's impossible. No matter how many times we train you on Google Apps for Education, no matter how much training we give you in how to use your device, no matter how many devices we give you, no matter how many days out of district we give you, if your mindset doesn't shift to the point where you believe that there is a new vision for teaching and learning, we are dead on arrival, there's no chance. No chance. So all of the training that goes on today, if you're sitting there thinking, this is crap, everything's fine. My rows and my lectures are fantastic. My kids love my lectures. They love them, every one of them. If that's what you're thinking in your head right now, this is a waste of your time, and I apologize for wasting your time. The second and most important pieces are their personal characteristics. The ability to have grit. I dropped my thing, it shattered everywhere. If I was like, oh crap, and ran out the door, and that was it, and I was never gonna do a presentation again, then that's also, we're not gonna get anywhere. Your projectors are gonna fail. Your devices are gonna fail. Your wireless is gonna fail. Everything is going to fail. But you know what? In the real world, crap fails too. Everything fails. So these are skills that we're building in our students. Grit is an important and powerful skill for them to see how you react to it and for them to react to it themselves. Everything fails. Transparency, the ability to walk into your neighbor's classroom and be able to say, wow, I love what you're doing there, or oh my God, that was a train wreck. I can learn from your train wreck. That transparency is hugely important in this new age of trying and testing new ideas around blended learning. And collaboration in the same mentality. How are we collaborating? How are we sharing? I made this awesome YouTube video. It's up in the cloud. I tagged it with these 3 Common Core standards. You should pull it down and use it. That level of collaboration is the only way we're going to get there. Then we get to the skills. Our complex generalizable skills, things like reflection and all those sorts of great things like communication, those are huge. What you're talking about, the people skills. And then, and only then, at the very end of this, once you have all of these other pieces, then do we begin to talk about technological skills, data analysis skills, the ability to leverage and manage the cloud. But if we don't have these things at the top, it really is a giant waste of your time today. And again, I apologize in advance for wasting your time today. So, our question before we kick off today is really, what is your new vision for teaching and learning? Which part of this grabs you? Because we're going to throw you into some experiences and some exercises today that are going to be completely uncomfortable for you. You're not going to have somebody lecturing at you for the rest of the day. You're going to be to your own device with partners in collaboration, seeking out the information that you need and want to be able to do blended learning well in your classroom. It's on you. And it's going to be uncomfortable. But it's going to be a new way that you need to learn, and a new way that hopefully you're going to get your students involved in this type of learning as well. We really believe it's the only way to start shifting the way classrooms look is by giving teachers the experience and opportunity to experience it as well. So is it learning at your own pace that excites you? Is it collaboration with peers that excites you? Is it teachers as advisors, not as lecturers, that excites you? Data-driven intervention, maybe that's what excites you. Student choice, having the ability to try this or that or this or that. Or student voice, the ability to express themselves in their assessments as opposed to just taking the A, B, C, D multiple choice. Which of these excites you? And then today, I want you to focus on thinking about that new vision for teaching and learning as you progress through the activities that we've created for you. How many folks listen to some sort of streaming music, Google Music, Spotify, Apple Music, right? On demand, I want to listen to this song, boom, there I go. On demand, I've got this playlist, I built it the way I want it, boom, here I go. It just takes me through. I want you to think about today, kind of what would it be like if this was your learning experience as well? If you could have on demand where you want to go, well-curated opportunities for you to learn at your own pace, to be able to play a song again, to be able to go and skip a song because you got about halfway through it and realized you were bored of it. Be able to kind of move at your own pace through your own learning. What would that feel like and be like? I want you to kind of leave you just with that thought. So that's it for the Why Blended Learning show. Thank you, high school folks. We'll say goodbye to you now. And we're going to kick it off. I'm going to pass this over to Kathy Sanford, who's going to explain kind of what's going to be happening throughout the course of the day. Did you want to jump in?
I just wanted to introduce our experts, and we have some other folks here that are joining us today.
Awesome.
So I just wanted to do that. One, I wanted to thank Diane Moore, who's here. She's our elementary technology coach. So thank you for joining us today. You're going to be up in the 15-minute session room all day. We're going to be having Tom Henry, also our middle school technology teacher, and Sue Johnson, who's going to be our other expert. So thank you very much for joining us. Also, Jay Kelly, Team 5, had volunteered to do this. I don't think that Eric Bluetouch didn't connect with you. You are around, so if anyone has any other questions, if Jay's there, please seek his assistance. He's awesome as well. So I wanted to introduce to you the folks that are here from the elementary school. I just had them sign in, and thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate that. We have Karen Robinson from Salesville. Welcome. We have Dan Penzer from Central. Amy Olson from Central. Looks like Sarah Mahler. Did I say that correctly? That's also from Salesville. Renee Moriarty from Northern. And would you mind saying your name? Cynthia? I just couldn't read that. So Cynthia Quinlan from Northern. Welcome. I appreciate you guys being here, and I hope you find everything comfortable here at Middle School. And don't hesitate to ask anyone around here for help. Everybody's very helpful. So with that, I'll pass this over to you, Kathy.
Great. So it's time to open your devices and go to a website. This is an L for Lincoln Middle School PD. So lmspd.highlanderinstitute.org. And I'll give you a second to get there. If you don't have a device here, you can share with a person.
Guys, this is all still part of the opening, so you're getting some information. Did you want to speak now at this point?
Oh my gosh.
All right, so let's take a minute. Anybody who's in Eureka Map or Go Map, please use at this point. Physical education, I just wanted to let you know that you do have an open time frame to work on your curriculum. So you can stay here right now, and then when you're ready, you can go to one of the rooms on Team 1. And you're going to be connecting with Jim Frost and decide what to do. Thank you.
Can you guys raise your hand if you're here with me?
You, I think.
So if you are there with me and there's someone at your table who isn't, please help them get there. Okay, raise your hand if you're with me. Are you guys with me? Okay, so there are two questions that you need to answer before we dismiss. One of them is, what do I want to learn today? And the other is, how do I want to learn it? So when you think about what you want to learn today, you want to go to the bingo card, which is right here under your agenda. So as you can see on your screen, the bingo card has 25 different activities that you may learn about today. There's productivity activities, there's assessment activities, there's collaboration activities, self-directed learning, deeper learning. There's some 101 activities and Google Classroom activities. So take a second to look at the bingo activities. And then if you have really good glasses, you can also look at this tiny bingo card and kind of circle the things that are interesting to you. Yeah.
So,
You can look through it.
as you can see, our major focus today is on leveraging Google Apps Verification. So, if you are already, in your own mind, an expert with Google Apps Verification, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for you to kind of work in the right sides of this bingo card. But if you're really kind of brand new to this, we want to kind of focus you on that B row So as you're looking across the card, kind of think about where you are in terms of your expertise and where you want to start across this work. Sorry.
Everything else is just a hodgepodge of levels, right? So it's not. So B is beginner. Everything else is. All right. So I'm gonna pick one because today I want to be able to create an exit slip for my class using Google Forms. That's
So
one of my goals.
Make sure you're looking up here right now, because this is going to give you, if you don't get the kind of the flow of how this is put together, you'll feel lost throughout the day. So this is kind of, so follow Kathy now as she shows you kind of, once you decide what it is you want to do, what's the next step?
Okay, so each of these squares has a link on the bottom. I'm going to go down to I2 to creating an exit slip, and I'm going to go ahead and click on that link. And this is going to be a one-pager. It's a little bit hard to see all of it. Okay. So you're going to see an outline of all of the bingo tasks under assessment. And then up here, we have playlists and tutorials. So if I want to create an exit slip using Google Forms, I am going to go to the Google Forms playlist.
So
and that is going to help me
understand. Real quick. Do you guys understand what a hyperlink word is? Everyone know what I'm talking about. So this entire thing is based off of taking words in the Google Docs, turning them blue so that they become things you can click on to go to other websites, okay? So from that bingo card, obviously this one, you can't touch anything and go to another website, but the bingo card that's on the website, you'll see under each of these descriptions, there's a little link, a little blue wording. That's what's gonna take you into a sheet that looks like this. It's like the Matrix. You're gonna keep going deeper and deeper, right? So you come to a sheet that looks like this, and then each of these are their own explanations of those specific things. So when you click on them, you're gonna go deeper into that one thing. So first you pick from the bingo card, then you go into a generalized playlist about that topic, and then you pick something within that topic that you wanna go deeper on. And you go deeper into that by clicking on that specific word. Does that make sense?
So there's a lot of extra information on this page. If you look at the bingo task and you're like, I kind of already know this, or this is not exactly where I'd want to focus, we gave you some additional activities. We gave you some challenge activities. So if you've heard about Kaizena and that's kind of where you really want to focus your effort around assessment, go to the Kaizena link. And we also gave you the opportunity to do an independent project on each of these. So for assessment, you know what you want to learn. It's not on this page, but that's okay. You can learn that thing, and then you'll just record it as an independent project. So are there any questions about figuring out what I want to learn today? Yes.
So how do you actually put this information on the bingo card as accomplished?
That's a great question. So after you figure out the tasks that you want to accomplish, you will go, so I chose the exit, make an exit slip using Google Forms. So I'm gonna watch the playlist, and then I'm gonna click here at the bottom of this to share the exit slip that I created. And it is a Google form. You're gonna submit your name, the task that you chose, and the link to the exit slip that you created.
Maeve's gonna click on it right here. It's the same Google form for all. Your names have been pre-populated, so you're gonna click here and you'll find your name from that list, select your name, and then you'll fill in your department, what category of task was completed, and that's written on that last sheet we just showed you. The bingo card task completed, so that's gonna be the actual like B6 or whatever. A brief description of what you did, the actual link to what you did, so the URL, which a Google form has a URL, a new doc has a URL, everything you create is gonna have a URL link that you're gonna put in here. And then just a little bit of qualitative info for us and for your administrators on whether you liked this or didn't like this activity. And then you're gonna kind of submit that, and then on your card itself, you can just cross it out, okay?
So everyone needs to submit 5 things today. 5 or more. But your goal is to submit, to exit the playground, is to submit 5 things by clicking that link to the bottom of the page. Yes.
And what if we're more like a beginner and,
Okay,
you know, you can't get to 5, you'd rather just like focus like right now, I really want to get Google Docs. So
Yep.
I may not get to 5 because I'm focusing so much on what I feel like my weakness is. Yeah, that's fine.
and to just to emphasize, like, throughout the day, there's everyone has different ways they like to learn. Right?
Yeah, that's my next, how do you want to learn? Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna talk about that, go ahead.
So,
Yeah, question? Yeah.
So is this what bingo is that we all have to do the middle square?
Yes. Middle square is mandatory.
And does everything else have to be in a row or we?
No, then you can hop around, yeah, but just the middle square is mandatory. Yeah. Yeah, great call, thank you. Yeah,
you're free.
submit it. Yes, no problem, yeah, it's already pre-done in some other fashion. Yeah, this is all mastery. So you would go to your Google Classroom, you would take the link from that Google Classroom where you've already submitted something, you take that URL, you submit it, and under share work. And we just showed you the share work form, you just share it that way. Boom, done.
So we have to do each course.
No, just something that shows you know how to do that. Yeah, just anything that shows you know how to do that. Yeah, so take anyone's and put it in there, yeah? Again, this is mastery. If you can show us you've mastered it, please, boom, move it on.
All right, the second important question is how do you want to learn today? So there are a couple different options. You can go by yourself, sit on your computer, put your headphones on, and cruise through your 5 tasks. You can find a colleague or 2 who want to work on the same tasks that you do. In the Media Center, there's sections, like an assessment section, a productivity section. So you can find a partner or 2 and learn together collaboratively. There'll be people like me.
Kathy, sorry to interrupt you.
Yep.
Those tables that Kathy just mentioned match the left menu sidebar on your website. So if you look right here, I'm in the assessment sidebar. Collaboration and connection will be a table. Deeper learning will be a table. Classroom will be a table, and so on.
So in the library, you can find that area to collectively do that work and help and support each other. And there'll always be a techspert in the library, so if you guys run into a barrier or a wall at that table, you just raise your hand, someone comes over and works you through it.
If you're kind of panicked at the concept of learning this by yourself, there are workshops that will be happening on the hour every hour and on the 15 and 45. So there's also workshop schedule right here. So if you feel like you want to spend your time learning in a workshop format, that's totally fine. So here under workshop schedule on your website, and we've also printed these out and posted them around. You can see what's happening, and you can head to those workshops in rooms.
The link on the middle square page, it doesn't work.
Okay, I can fix that as soon as I'm done. Thank you.
Cool.
For us, for the Google Classroom, we have like over 600 students, so it's kind of a compliment. We use Google Classroom, we share with other teachers, classroom teachers.
So just to show you how to do it, just pick like 4 kids in those
Yeah,
classes.
that's fine.
It's about mastery that you know how to do it.
Okay.
Or pick a classroom that you might actually use it with. If you have like 4
We
kids
can
that,
share with other teachers on their classroom, like we have teachers that do that.
Yeah.
and you do that already.
I don't do it already, but I know I can ask.
So get one of them to give you their link and post something.
They're not here, I'm here. They're at the assessment.
Find a way to submit something.
We can help talk that through.
Yeah.
So the last point, you guys, if I can just have your attention for like 2 more seconds. All of the tasks with a star next to them are associated with a workshop. So if you pick B5, you're like, oh, I'd really like to learn that face-to-face in a workshop. That's great because it has a star. So that means when you go down and you look at the workshops on this page, the scrolling is a little sad.
No, you have to click workshops over on the left. Workshop schedule.
The related workshops are right
Oh.
here on the same page, and you can figure out which one matches the task that you want to accomplish.
So last thing I want to say, there's a lot here. Once you start kind of going deeper and deeper into like the challenge activities and things like that, this is not a resource that's just for today. This is a resource for you. There's a lot of tutorial videos. There's a lot of deeper dives into some of these things. So if you see something and you're like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to get to it all today, this is something that you guys can use forever. It's got all of your kind of Google Doc information for how you want to do blended all in one location that will sit there in perpetuity.
So the challenge is to push yourself today.
Yes, while you have supports and textbirds, push as deep and as far as you can.
So are we all just missing to the
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead.
So a quick note on the workshops. A quick note on the workshops. The 45-minute workshops in room B216 will be about half of the time having a demo from one of the textbooks and half of the time giving you the chance to dive in and play a little bit in Google Classroom or Google Docs or whatever tool we're using. The 15-minute workshops, which will be in room B316, are more just demos to get you feeling comfortable so that you can then go play on your own or with a group of people. But it'll just be time to get your feet wet. So that's the difference. If you feel like you don't need a big, long time, you just want to feel comfortable, that's what the 15 minutes are for. And some of those tools overlap with the 45-minute. So make sure you take the next 12 minutes to kind of look over the workshop schedule.
Now, so the workshop, the first one kicks off at 9 o'clock. So it's only about 8:50 right now. So if you're sitting there and you're like, I have no freaking idea what we're doing. I am completely lost. These guys are crazy. I've never been to a professional like this. Don't hold that in. Don't wait till the very end when we give you our feedback form and then say, this was so confusing. No one ever explained. Don't do that. Take the next 10 minutes to come to this table and we will walk you through it as slowly as you need it to get it. You understand? Now's the time to come get a tutorial on how this thing works. It's doable. We can get you there. Come work with us. There's a lot of you there. I will be at that table, but everyone else come to this table. Yeah, no, it's good. Name's right here. We'll talk about anyone else need some clarification? I've been using the classroom for 2 years.
Beautiful.
Well, how do you see it?
So you're gonna have just pop the URL into that form.
And you'll be able to see it?
Yeah. Well, it's not
I don't
just
have
us; it's your admin team that's looking through the stuff too. So yeah, they
How are
want
they going to
to.
be able to see if I'm sure? Well, I asked them to join my classroom.
They'll go there and they'll see that you have the classroom set up. Or if they want an invite at that point in time, then they'll ask you.
Should I send them an invite?
You can do that too. Yeah, why not? Let them see all the great stuff you do, right? Let's do it that way.
Yeah.
Disconnect. And can I take your?
Yeah, totally. Of course.
Thanks. So all I have to do is plug it in the USB thing. And
Yeah,
it
here.
works?
Sometimes off, and then
And then
you plug it in.
turn on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
All right, I'll be in 216.
Good luck, man. Text us if you need anything. Whose phone is this? Man, is this your phone? No. Is this a principal's phone?
I don't remember.
Do you have that
What?
classroom on?
Yep.
Okay.
It looks a little bit different.
Does it have a share option for the form? Like down at the bottom when you share your work? Yep. Okay.
So it's just not on the site. I don't know how to put it on the site.
Oh, I do. Just go to the site. Is the site editable?
Well, yeah, I don't know how to.
Can't go to the bingo card? Isn't the bingo card one of our docs?
It is.
So we just go here. But we gotta open this.
But see, if you go down, there's no link to the doc on this one. He did this one differently. So now
We gotta go to,
it
you gotta
should
open
work
this in
now.
Drive.
No, I
Still
know.
working?
It's on my other tab.
Yeah, it's good.
It's just not. This isn't part of the website. It's its own doc. So.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. So that's fine.
Yeah.
So that passing high school.
Google Hangouts on it.
Okay. Is there
So
a way
here.
to take that?
Yeah.
So it's recording in a 30-second delay live.
Yeah. And then it's in your YouTube feed.
So you can then post that onto like your Google Classroom page as a YouTube.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking if the goal is to get kids more independent, working at their own pace,
Totally.
then you could pre-record almost something
Totally.
that you want them to watch 5-10 minutes.
Totally.
Okay.
Or if you have kids that are like chronically absent.
Well, that's it.
You
That's
should
kind of what I'm
constantly be
thinking.
filming yourself.
Well, it's also nice to do without the distractions. It's not to go and do it on your own time. And just,